We have a nice high tide that we're coming in on here,
Nice.
so
This is so cool.
it's crazy. In
Hi.
6 hours, the tide will be totally different.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Amazing.
All right, you did it.
All right. I'm gonna put this oar inside.
Yeah, just throw it in
All
there
right.
anywhere.
Great. All right. Hi, I'm Katie. Nice to meet you. Hey. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, check it out, huh?
So cool.
Welcome. Get this thing up, although I think the
No, I've
tide's
never
going
been
out.
to this part of the river.
So yeah, you say north side. Where have you been? In the
North
park?
side. I mean, well, yeah, I pretty much go to pony pasture.
Okay.
Because I have a dog and he likes to swim.
Right, right.
Yeah, I like Texas Beach, pony pasture, and then I'll
Right.
go to the how do you pronounce it? Huguenot.
Huguenot Flatwater?
Yeah,
Yep,
and I
yep.
love swimming, so I'll like try to
Right.
go as far upriver as I can to swim.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you know, this is a great swimming place too. You can see. I'll give you the
Awesome.
tour.
Yeah.
Welcome. Yeah, so this is kind of like the tidal downstream end of the island. If you look at a satellite, what's cool, it's like the final, look, I just did it too.
Yeah.
The final rapids on the James literally
Okay.
bisect the island. So it's like,
Oh, cool.
that's the Piedmont and we're standing in the coastal plain, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like it's kind of a neat dichotomy, and it has two personalities. So yeah, the SHARPSFEST, which
Which I missed. I'm
which
so
you missed,
sad
you
about.
got it. You guys got to put it on the calendar.
We'll put it in the calendar for next year.
It's
for
always
sure.
the last Saturday in August.
Okay.
But yeah, there's a million people swimming on those days, so this is a good place for that. So yeah, here we are on the sort of granite outcrop upstream end of the island.
So where do people they camp in there?
They sleep in
or-
there.
They sleep in there.
People put tents,
Wow.
outhouse right there,
Cool.
rooftop deck, grill.
Amazing.
But yeah, we've done.
I love
Isn't it cool?
That's so cool.
So yeah, this is our podcast setup, but
Amazing.
you can see there's basically
yeah.
people can sleep on the couch, but I've slept on, you just do
That
do
is
like a
like the
camping setup, but you don't need
best
a tent.
office.
Isn't it cool?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do have a like satellite Wi-Fi, so if you want, you could come out here
Yeah.
and do everything you do
Amazing.
at home.
Wow.
But yeah, here, show you the whole island. It's not that big. You're almost there.
Oh, this is so cool.
Yeah, this is our one of our good friends who was on the podcast. His name's Keith Ramsey. He's a local artist. We commissioned him to do this a couple years back, this sculpture.
Oh, that's so cool.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
It's all
I
like that's
love
a lot
it.
of what he does is kind of
Found objects.
found objects. He
Yeah.
calls it found punk because it's kind of like a steampunk. A lot of his stuff has like a steampunk
Yeah.
look with found objects.
Wow. Amazing.
Isn't it neat?
This is so cool.
And you're standing in the foundation of a house that was built in 1895 on this island. It's crazy.
Wow.
Like you should see the pictures. It's like a real two-story. It's just like a house. Like it wasn't a cabin like that. It was like a real
house?
It's crazy. In 1895, long before.
Do they have a bridge or
outboard
how did they
motors.
get?
I don't know.
Who
So,
knows? A boat.
Imagine there was no, flood wall. That
Right.
was built in the 90s. I think it was the 90s. So yeah, they had to boat every brick over here. Can you imagine? So.
What kind of birds are in the air right now? I wonder if those are hawks. Because there's a
I don't
migration
think-
going on.
Is there really?
Or maybe they're turkey vultures.
Usually it's turkey vultures. Those you definitely get some like seabirds and shorebirds
Yeah.
up here.
Oh, this is so cool.
So we'll do.
Oh, we got a fire.
Yeah, like this is actually the first one that's been cold enough.
Yeah.
I was like, let's I'm gonna see if I can make some hot chocolate for us. Look,
Amazing.
isn't that amazing?
So cool.
But yeah, we're finally now cool enough for fires and s'mores and.
I'm gonna take a picture. Is that okay?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. You're allowed to take a picture whenever you want.
Oh, great. Smile.
Oh, sorry.
Send that to Ashley.
Yeah, please.
So you guys built this?
So yeah, I built this.
Beautiful.
It was mostly me and a couple of other friends. There's a couple sections of it where it's like not possible for
windows
one
are,
person.
like,
Isn't that
so
cool?
great.
Yeah, a friend of mine is an architect up in DC, and he did the design, and I finished it. Well, so I want to say like December 1st is the 2-year anniversary of starting it.
Okay.
So it was like December, and then I finished it that summer, 2 summers ago. Isn't it cool?
So cool.
And then we added the rooftop deck this summer.
That's epic.
You got to go check that out at some point.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe I'll climb up there now.
You want to do it now?
Yeah.
Do it. Just you know, it's like I tell my. It's like I say on the waiver.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
I'm gonna go. Hold on, I'll be right.
Wow, this is so charming. Get out of here. Should have brought my real camera. Oh, that's too cool.
Let's see. This. Finally gonna put this stove to some good use here.
Yeah.
The only thing I've done is cook hot dogs on it.
Yeah, I love that.
Okay, hold on. This kind of a Swiss Miss genius takes time. Here we go. Look, check it out. Right here.
Did you see this toast?
Boom, boom. With the marshmallows in it. That's the high quality stuff right there. You kidding me?
Sure that
Look at that.
They brought it over somehow. How did
Yeah.
you bring this over? Was this come? Did this come?
I don't know if it was on the canoe or we've had, for some of the bigger stuff, I've got a friend and now I have a John boat to get
Okay.
stuff across. But this, if you've ever been to Crossroads Coffee Shop, it's right on like Forest Hill and Sims.
Yeah.
I was good friends with the owner and he had one of these. It's been there forever. And he was like, man, I've been calling the Times Dispatch for years to take it away. You know, like I think I mean, look at this. Like this was an ad from 2006. So like at some point after that, they stopped servicing newsstands. And I was like, dude, that'd be an amazing little free library.
Oh, I watched a
Like-
video and I saw you say that people keep taking books and I should have
Right.
brought books.
It's like,
Actually, I have.
I forgot about it.
I do the same thing. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm like, I forget
Okay,
to
well
tell
next
people.
time we'll bring some
When you bring your
books.
son out, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, kid books would be amazing.
Yeah,
If you
we
some.
have a few kid books that are just like no go.
Perfect.
She's over them.
She's over them. That's perfect. This is the place for him. Yeah. All right, let's see. I've only ever cooked hot dogs out here on this thing.
It's a sweet little stove.
It's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is the third iteration. Like we had I built a little A-frame cabin that got washed away. You can imagine, like this place is, everything's temporary out here. And then I built like a platform, basically the size of this, and I found this guy in Montana that makes these like custom, like those cool, like backcountry canvas tents. You know, like for like guys that are hunting with elk, for elk for 12 days in the wilderness, and it was awesome. And the stove, there's like a stove pipe and everything, but that got jacked up by a summer thunderstorm, like the aluminum poles.
Like an
got all
Arctic
bent.
oven type tent?
Yes.
Yeah.
But this was like part of the purchase. And
Yeah, that's what it looked like. It looked like the ones that come with
and
those
it's
tents.
and there's like they're designed to have these like stoves heat them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we still use it. Like I'll put one of these, screens on top of it and just like cook.
Nice.
Claire, did you see I put I found this, I'm a sucker for like Instagram ads, and there was this cool like blowtorch. You use like a camping, it's like one of those like green gas cylinders, and you hook it up to this blowtorch. And I was like, I gotta have it. And I was out here burning poison ivy, and I like did a video of that on Instagram, and I've never had that many people comment on anything I've ever, because they're like, dude, no, they were like, dude, don't you know about, like, I was out here, the wind was going, like, I kind of knew what I was doing, but they were like, dude, you're gonna like, you're gonna get poison ivy in your eyes and your lungs and you're gonna die. And I was like, geez, y'all, I appreciate it. But like, I've never seen so many people so excited. It was like, all right, noted. You can aerosolize poison ivy.
Okay.
So don't ever do a massive bonfire and just throw poison ivy.
Poison ivy in it, good to know.
Katie, you ready? It's even got those freeze-dried marshmallows in them, and this is how you know it's the good stuff. You know what I mean? High-end, really high-end stuff.
They don't spare any expense.
No, Swiss Miss only, it's kind of like private label stuff. You like my hot pad here? Okay, let's try it. Look at that. Are you kidding me? Boom.
Yeah, it's good to check if there's like.
Hold on. Here we go. I got to get the stir.
Oh wow! But yeah, no, ever since COVID.
My Blue Sky Fund camping utensils here.
But like, I don't know. It's like the easiest thing. You just like.
All right, here we go.
Looks really
Let's see. This could be absolutely
I
terrible.
almost brought my coffee, so.
It could be absolutely awful.
Thank you.
So just careful
Is
there.
this, I get to drink this?
I mean, we're gonna see if it's any good.
It's gonna be great.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Thank you.
By the way.
It's
That's actually
perfect.
kind of perfect.
It's perfect.
Crazy.
Oh, I feel like I'm going skiing.
This is amazing. Where's the last place you skied?
Jeez. Maybe Colorado. I went to college in Colorado.
Okay.
Yeah, and I
Where'd
have a
you
lot
go?
of friends there. Colorado College.
Okay.
Yeah, so I try to visit folks.
Which is that in the same
That's
town
in
as Air Force Academy?
Yes,
that's right.
Colorado Springs.
Okay,
yeah.
we have like some of our best friends in the world live in Fort Collins. Isn't super close, but not
Yeah.
terribly far.
Yeah.
Is that like an hour south of Denver or more?
Yep.
Like an
Hours
hour.
out the- exactly.
And Fort Collins is like the same north
Yeah.
of Denver.
Yeah.
Right. All right, should we take our delightful drinks
Let's
to the
do it.
Here, I'm gonna get
Where do you live in Richmond?
So I'm down the street a bit. Like if you go down, like you got here, did you come across the river down there? Okay, so
I came from the UPS store in Carytown.
boom. Okay. So we're on the south side, like basically, you know the Nickel Bridge?
Yeah.
Right on the south end of the Nickel Bridge, like it's that neighborhood's called Westover Hills.
Okay.
And Evelyn Bird is our street, but it's literally right at the
Okay,
south
yeah,
end
yeah,
of the
yeah.
Nickel Bridge.
Nice.
So we just drive down Forest Hill, Semmes, Hull Street, and you're here.
Great.
And it's all, there's like 10 families that own this island, which is a ridiculous thing to say, but it's all like some neighborhood friends and college friends, and it's all just like random people who are like.
How long ago did you get it?
It was actually November will be our 7-year anniversary.
Cool.
So it was like this lady who got it in her, like her mom died, but she lived in like suburban Chicago, and she's like, what am I gonna do with an island? And she grew up in Richmond. Her parents
Okay.
were here. Her
Yeah.
mom passed away. She got the island. She's like, okay, whatever. And you know, I love. It's hilarious. You're like. I'd be walking the dog and be like, hey, Fabi, you want to get in on this island? And people would either be like, what is wrong with you? Or like, yes,
I get
sight
it. Yeah,
unseen.
yeah,
Like, yeah,
totally.
I have to say I own an island.
I want to own an island.
Right.
My brother-in-law owns a random island in Nova Scotia.
Yes.
With 3 of his friends. And
See?
it's like,
That's the first person I've told the story to who like also knows someone else.
it was like, we could buy this island. Should we buy it?
Right.
And they did. And like.
Well, the best part is once you do this, everyone you know, like, will just send you little, like, you know, news things like this island in Maine is for sale.
yeah.
This island in like the Hudson River is for sale. Like, it's amazing. So, yeah, that's and then over the time we've just added little things. Then those things get washed away. Mostly, I'm kind of the I don't know, mad scientist of the project, right? Like a lot of them are like, yeah, whatever you want to do, that's cool. Like, we just wanted to be part of it.
We just want to hang out on
Yeah,
this
we
island
want, right.
a
We
couple
want to
times.
do SHARPSFEST and then like block off a couple weekends a year where we
Yeah.
can do things. And so it's been super fun.
Amazing.
And now we're doing a podcast on an island.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Sharps Island. My guest today is Katie Orlinsky, award-winning photographer for outlets like National Geographic, among many, many others. Right?
Yep.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. This place is so cool.
Yeah, this is fun. We've done it all over the podcast, all over the island. I don't know that we've done one exactly like this, so this is kind of cool. We got rain coming down. We had some hot chocolate by the fire. It's our first one cold enough for hot chocolate and a fire, so it's kind of nice to. It's our fall episode. I actually had a ton of fun researching this interview. You've covered so much, been to so many parts of the world. You've lived in, help me get this right, Mexico, Alaska. Where else have you lived?
New York.
New York City,
Yeah,
that's where you're
where
from.
I'm from, yeah.
Okay. You shot for the New York Times, New Yorker, Smithsonian Mag, National Geographic, I'm sure like a million others, but those are all right? Like
Yeah.
those are some of the big ones?
Yeah.
Won a bunch of awards, taught photojournalism at NYU,
Yes.
Columbia,
And University of Alaska Fairbanks.
and Alaska Fairbanks.
Yeah.
And this is my favorite one. You were named a National Geographic Explorer in 2023. I'm going to get back to that one. So that's all correct. That's the resume. before we get into all that, I'm going to ask you more specifics. Start at the beginning. When did you first realize that photography was going to be more than a hobby for you?
I mean, I loved it when I was a kid. I got my first camera when I was 14. 14 from my dad. Was a Pentax. And
Growing up in Brooklyn?
Growing up in Manhattan.
In Manhattan, okay.
In like Midtown Manhattan.
Okay.
And I would like take really bad photos of apples in a cart.
Right.
And like statues with someone sitting next to the
you were
statue.
drawn to it.
But I was so drawn to it. And
Right.
there was a dark room in my high school. We had a really nice art teacher, Mr. Neal.
Okay.
And I think he was just very supportive. And then I saw that there was this job where like you could be a National Geographic photographer. You could.
Pretty soon, like in high school.
In high school, I was like, oh, if you're a photojournalist, like you can travel the world. And I really loved traveling. My dad was a theater producer.
Okay.
And his shows would tour. So a lot of times, like, to spend time with him, I would go to places like Germany or China, or like I traveled a lot as a little kid. So I really
super cool.
wanted to travel, and I
Right.
saw that, oh, this is a job that could help you travel. And then I got really into politics and activism and stuff, and I would take photos at protests when I was in high school
Even
too.
in high school?
In high school, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I sort of like, I don't know, and then I realized that, oh, everybody wants to be a National Geographic photographer. This isn't, this is, not necessarily going to happen. So I started thinking like, oh, maybe I want to like work for the UN or work for an NGO. And I kind of stopped thinking that would be something that I did for a bit.
But then you did.
But then I did it. But then I graduated college and I moved to Mexico.
In Colorado, right?
Colorado, yeah.
Right. Colorado College.
Colorado College,
University
yes.
of, right.
CC. Then I moved to Mexico. And I ended up getting a job at the local newspaper.
When did you graduate college? What's the timing on all this?
Good question. 2005.
5, got it.
Yeah, 2005. And then I went to the local newspaper, El Noticias de Oaxaca, and showed them my terrible portfolio. And they were like, sure.
So you weren't moving to Mexico as a photojournalist.
No.
You were like, what was Spanish your major? Why'd you go there?
Latin American Studies.
Okay.
Yeah, Latin American Studies was my major, and I was just really interested in all the social movements going on in Latin America.
Okay.
I think I had an internship at an indigenous photography archive organization.
Whoa.
And that was sort of brought me there.
In Mexico City?
Yeah, no, in Chiapas actually.
Okay, got it.
But and then I moved to Oaxaca, started working for the little local newspaper, and then a conflict broke out there in 2006, and it became an international news story.
Okay.
And that was the moment where I was like, oh, I think I can do this. I saw there were photographers there from La Jornada, which is the best newspaper in Mexico City. There were New York Times photographers there.
Right.
And I was like, well, I don't really know how to take pictures. My photos aren't that good, and I knew that.
At that
but
point,
I was like, I know where to be in the right place at the right time.
Okay.
And I saw what the job could be. And that was kind of the moment I was like, all right, I think I'm going to do this.
That's super cool. So between that high school, 14-year-old Katie taking pictures in New York, you weren't devoted to photography. It sort of came back.
Yeah.
That's super cool. How'd you end up in Richmond?
Oh, my husband.
Okay.
Yeah, so I met my husband before he was my husband.
Right.
And I was living in New York, and he was living here.
Okay.
And he had...
he was living in Richmond.
He was living in Richmond because he's a professor at VCU.
Got it. Okay.
And then eventually we were like, all right, well, we don't really like this long distance thing, so let's just live together in each place.
Okay.
And we kind of still do that. So we'll spend more or less half the year in New York and half the year here.
Okay. Your work, like I said, it was super fun trying to find, all the pictures you've taken, all the things you've worked on. It seems like it really focuses on people in communities. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
At least today?
Yeah.
What draws you to those stories? It might be a climate change story, but you're telling it through the eyes of a community, right?
Yeah.
What draws you to those stories specifically?
I mean, I feel like to make the most impact with photojournalism, with these stories, you want to tap into people's empathy, and I don't know, it's just kind of humanity and the universal nature of it.
Right.
And people just kind of will connect with other people. So even if it's an animal story or an environment story, I feel like it's always a story about people.
Right.
And I'm drawn to that. And I love nature, and I love being outdoors, and I love animals, but I feel like I don't want it to. I feel like no matter what, there's going to be a human element because we're a part of nature. We're here. We're not going anywhere.
Right.
So I always want to include the community and kind of human aspect to the story.
Really enjoyed your images from, how long did you live in Alaska?
I worked there for the last 10 years. And then I feel like I only really lived there, spent one of the cold, dark winters for a year.
Okay.
But
What
otherwise.
What is a winter in cold, dark
Oh my
Alaska?
God. rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't know that. Like, I'd always been there for work, and so you're moving and
You're in and out,
you're
yeah.
busy. And then when I taught at UAF, I was like, okay, I need some sunlight.
Yeah.
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 It's gorgeous. It's like so beautiful. The darkness and the light you do get is the most beautiful light you've ever seen. And everything's frozen, but like day after day, the darkness really got to me.
Yeah, I bet. I can only imagine. I have a cousin who lives in Helsinki, Finland, and it's similar. It's like, you gotta
you gotta
mentally prepare for the coming
or just be
winter.
a person that doesn't get seasonal affective disorder.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and it only takes one winter to find out if you get that, right. But yeah, I'm really drawn to those images. Is there something there that's like hard to explain in words that the camera helped capture? I mean, that's the job, right? Like to use those pictures to explain things to people that a bunch of articles can't.
Like about Alaska, you mean
About Alaska,
climate?
about climate change, right? Because that was a lot of your work was climate related, right?
And I do, and I think the community aspect of it. I think like I was just shocked how many people think that people in Alaska like would ask me like, do they live in igloos? Like think and it's like they're it's not their fault. It's so far away, but it's like the front line of climate change, and it's the place that's experiencing kind of the most impacts of the climate crisis, but also like the place that's going to be the blueprint. We're going to learn how to deal with all this stuff as it comes from them because they're going through it first. And I felt like photographing inside people's homes, like seeing that kids are playing video games and watching the NBA and then going out and hunting caribou and sort of like understanding sort of like that you can live that close to nature and in this non-idealized way, you're still a person in America.
A modern American.
Yeah.
Right. That's fascinating. Let's see. All right, I'm going to give you a list. Tell me what I left out. Nepal, Mexico, all these places you've shot. You've been Libya, Gaza.
Yeah.
I mean, Haiti, Chile, Alaska, Mali. You've done stories and documented stories in all those places. How does that, like, did an editor call you and say, hey, you got to go to Mali, we've got this, or do you pitch these stories?
It's like, and it's evolved over the course of my career. I'd say now I'm about 50% assignment, 50% pitches.
Right.
And when I was younger, it was pretty much like all pitches, or I would, sometimes assignments. Like, at the point when I was traveling this much, people weren't associating me with like North Africa, but they were associating me with Latin America. So
as a photographer, you get kind of an association.
Yeah, you do, and it can be helpful until you want to move on from it. But everybody's
like being typecast.
Yeah, everybody's still. So I speak Spanish fluently, and I'd covered the Mexican drug war for a long time. So I was getting a lot of assignments in Mexico, Central America, and then some in Latin America. And then I was just really interested, like, for example, Nepal, there's an NGO that I worked with originally in Haiti.
Okay.
The Haiti was like, so when I was really young, I would like see a news story on the TV and like need to be there. Like every big news story in the world was like, I just wanted to be like a photographer that covered. I gotta
get on a plane.
Yeah, I gotta cover every like when history's happening, I wanted to be there. And so for the things that I wasn't associated with, I'd like maybe find an NGO that could get me there. I'd work for an NGO, or I'd write a grant. Like with Mali, I got a reporting grant, and then I did all the work, and then I would pitch it after the fact.
Interesting.
So I would.
Pretty risky financially.
It is. It's like absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like super risky financially, and there was a lot of time in my 20s where I lived at home. Like I would save money, and I was lucky living at home at New York City, right? But like
so
I would
you were close to all these outlets and NGOs. And
and I could save money, and then like self-fund some trips and do the work and sell it after the fact, plus assignments. So kind of like a combo. And I'd say it's a little bit like that now. Maybe I get more assignments now, because when you're working for National Geographic, they're just long. Like it's like a story will take 3 years, so you don't have as much bandwidth to do other work. But yeah, it's kind of 50-50.
I mean, like I look at the list of places. Haiti, were you there for the earthquake? What brought you to Haiti?
So yeah, I saw the earthquake happening, and I wanted to go photograph it. I was like pretty new photographer at that point.
That was like early mid 2000s.
Yeah, 2009.
Okay, 2009.
And then I like literally called up all the NGOs. I just called them up. I was like, "Do you need a photographer?"
Right.
And one of them, it was called Caritas, and I still work with them. They're an awesome. They're affiliated with CRS, Catholic Relief Services. So they're a Catholic NGO. run out of the Vatican, and they had an office near the UN, and they were like, all right, we'll come in, and I came in, and they were like, okay, you can, like, we'll fly you there, but we won't pay you, but like we'll house you, because part of it was you didn't want to go and show up and be a journalist that was taking away resources, because it's like people needed places to stay.
This is literally a disaster zone.
So it's like, you know, you have to make sure that you're not like taking up space for other people. But then Caritas hired me, and it actually worked out really great, because there was two search and rescue teams. They had one from South Africa and one from Mexico, and they couldn't communicate. So then I ended up becoming the translator for the two search and rescue teams,
you were
and
there
taking photos as well.
right after the earthquake. I mean, that, like, if they're still doing search and rescue, that's
incredible. I got there right away, and that was, I think, one of my first big sort of like being a part of a big international news story.
That's crazy. What's it like? And like, you did work in Gaza. What's it like? That was years ago, right?
Years ago.
So obviously not covering the current
No.
conflict, but what's it like to see that, like, this place that you have been and done work and like see it now?
I mean, it's beyond a tragedy. I mean, because the story, like, I went there and it was years.
How long ago was that?
That was a long time ago. That was 2010, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it was a really long time ago, and it was yeah, they were rebuilding from the last war. I don't know. I was just really impressed by it. It almost felt like I don't. It's very strange to say this, but it had like a similar energy to Cuba, in that I just felt like people were really smart. People were kind of like, they didn't have much, but they
An entrepreneurial.
Yeah, entrepreneurial. They made it work. Yeah, I just like it was. I think you only ever see images of it as this war zone, and that's what I knew about it. And I had just gone to Israel to visit my best friend who was living there, and then I kind of, like, you know, did all the things. Like, I brought 2 passports. I did all the things you need to do to get yourself into Gaza, and it wasn't at the time. Yeah, and it was really like I met girls outside of school, like university students, and I'd follow them, and I was just sort of photographing it like just almost like a travel photographer. And just to kind of learn about it and experience it, and and everything is gone. And I don't know, you know, like a lot of the journalists I work with, because the local journalists there are amazing. A lot of the ones that I was friends with have gotten out. But
in the 15 years.
Oh, no, in the last 2 years.
Literally have gotten out because of the current conflict.
So they're safe elsewhere. Their families aren't. I just can't believe that, like, we're watching this massive genocide in real time.
And for you specifically to have a personal connection, it's interesting. I used to be the outdoors writer for the Times-Dispatch here in town, and I would write twice a week. And I think because of those deadlines, it sort of changed how I saw the outdoors, right? Like, you walk your dog and a hawk flies by, you're like, oh, I wonder what the local hawk population, like, you always have to be thinking about, like, what the next story is going to be. Is being a professional photographer similar, where it's like everything could be material, and, like, you know, your livelihood, like you said, you're pitching a lot of stuff. Is that a similar kind of, like, see the world through that lens when you're not working?
Sort of. I mean, like sometimes I think I'll just, like, turn it off. Right. Yeah, because there's this separateness when you're taking pictures. You know, like, you sort of get in, like, I personally kind of, like, get in this very, like, internal, like, solo place, and so if I'm, like, with my family and with my friends, I'm not one of those photographers that, like, brings their camera everywhere and takes pictures of I mean, now I do. I take pictures of my baby nonstop. Of course. I mean, so that's changed.
15 months and everybody's taking pics.
Yeah, but
you're just taking good pics of your kid.
I want to, like, if I want to stay present, I can't be photographing because I'm so, like, laser focused. But then I'll definitely just, like, you know, when I listen to the radio and, like, read the news, I'm always sort of looking for something that could be that could be a story. And especially now local, now that I have the baby, like, I used to be like, what's the furthest place I can go? Like, I always wanted to go to, like, send me to Palau, or, like, send me to the craziest place. But now I'm like, I really would love to find more, like, close to home stories. Yeah.
The story of Sharps Island is one that just begs to be told by you.
Yeah. I agree.
You've done a lot of work on climate change related stories, right? Is that what you did for National Geographic? Was that the caribou?
Yeah, that was
migration.
The stories I've done for them have been, like, I did a little bit. I did a story about permafrost, about Arctic permafrost decline, and then the big story I've been working on the last 4 years was about Arctic caribou.
Yeah. That's cool. That was on the cover.
It was.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, how cool is that to be part of that like continuum of? I mean, you could make a list of National Geographic photographers, and you're now on that. That's pretty cool.
I was actually my second cover.
Wait, what was your first?
So another story I did, which was wonderful, was about the Gila Wilderness, which is the first wilderness area.
New Mexico?
Yes,
Yeah.
in New Mexico.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was like kind of like started from an idea by Aldo Leopold, but it's America's first wilderness area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
When was that cover?
That was 2022.
Okay. So both relatively recent.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah,
What was
it
that
is.
like? Did you get drunk after the first cover? I mean,
No.
dude,
See,
that's a big deal.
Photographers are like kind of we're kind of bummers.
Really?
I was like, I didn't think it looked good enough. You know,
You didn't like the
I was
picture
like,
they
I didn't like the
chose?
photo they chose. There was
Right.
like I didn't like the toning on one of the portraits, and we're just insane. And it's like anytime you sort of like reach what somebody would think is like, oh, this like
Right.
big milestone, you're just like
What's the next one?
you just raise the bar.
There is nothing worse than going back. Like I said, for 6 years, I was the outdoors columnist at the paper here and wrote twice a week. And there is not a single column I can go. So, many hundreds of columns. And there's not a single one where I go back and I'm like, I wouldn't change. There's
Yeah.
always like, I can't
Yeah.
believe I used that
Yeah.
word. I can't believe I did that. Like that's terrible. What was I thinking? It's kind of a curse.
And so with the caribou story was actually, if you're like if you want to know. So I had two caribou articles. So I ended up doing this kind of 4-year huge project about Arctic caribou decline, and that was in an issue. And then I also had a part of the story was about reindeer, the last reindeer herd ever in Canada. So
Not the same thing.
They're not the
Reindeer,
same thing. They can breed, and they're like essentially the same species, but they're separated by about like 7,000 years of domestication of reindeer in Europe and Russia. And they brought reindeer over to try and kind of colonize indigenous people, make them stop migrating with the caribou. About over 100 years ago, it was a failure. Fast forward, and there's still this reindeer herd in Northwest Territories, and it just got bought by the indigenous community. So that's for the first time ever. It's owned by indigenous people.
Do they not migrate? Reindeer?
Reindeer, small, like much smaller migrations than caribou migration.
Walking around the block.
And they can. These ones, I mean, they'll range quite a bit, but you can also, they're domesticated, so you can choose if they migrate or not. So this is how I became an explorer, because
that was my next question.
My caribou story was out of money, but I really wanted to include this reindeer angle. And so I got a grant from the National Geographic Society, which anybody listening to this podcast, if you're interested, you should always check out what grants are open and you can apply to for them. You could be a scientist, you can be a storyteller. They've got like an amazing grant program. Yep.
Appreciate you saying that.
Yeah.
Come up with something.
So then they gave me the funding to do this reindeer story. So then that ended up being the cover story. So like the caribou story came out in one issue, and then there was a separate reindeer story in another. But it was, it's all the same in the sense that like it's this animal that doesn't get a lot of attention that got on the cover, which is really exciting.
That's super cool. So they don't. I feel like the people that bought the reindeer herd, what a great opportunity for some Christmas marketing. Like invite photographers up and photo shoots.
Oh my gosh, they're not ready for that.
They're not ready.
So they're trying to grow the herd. It's really dwindling. So yeah, I mean, one day it could be like a tourist thing, but it's also outside of Tuktoyaktuk, so it could not be further. Like there is a.
So from Richmond, Virginia, how do you get to Tuktoyaktuk?
So to get to Tuktoyaktuk, you would fly
Richmond to Chicago.
Yeah, Richmond to Chicago. Chicago to
Yellowknife.
Edmonton.
Okay,
no, not
Edmonton?
even. Edmonton.
Okay.
Edmonton to Yellowknife.
Okay.
Yellowknife to Inuvik.
Okay.
And then they actually finally built a road to Tuktoyaktuk. It's like the
you
northern.
actually can drive.
And then you drive from Inuvik
you don't
to
have to take a float plane or something.
No, but then you snowmobile probably another like 20 to 50 miles out to where the reindeer herd is.
That is amazing. You have to snowmobile to get to the story. That's so great. I meant to ask you before when we were talking about, I don't know, that sounds kind of dangerous. What's the most dangerous assignment you've ever covered?
Gosh.
How about dangerous, strange, crazy? When did you feel the most?
I mean, definitely Libya, but I would also say photographing kind of just violence in Honduras.
The Mexican drug war.
The Mexican drug war. So working in
Honduras.
Juarez, but then also, kind of after that, in about 2015, 2016, I was doing some work in Honduras, and we were kind of in there was an active shootout, and we were in a woman's a seamstress's house, and we were all on the ground, and that was pretty.
Listening to gunshots.
Yeah.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah.
All right, National Geographic Explorer. You get that title. Is that like on your mantle? What do you get? Like, do you get a plaque?
No.
There's not. Did you make a plaque? Did your husband make one for you for Christmas
title.
that year?
What it means is you're a grantee.
Okay. They gave you money to go do
something
a certain
amazing,
thing.
super cool.
Okay.
But
it could be like your job was to document, in this case, reindeer. But there are people that like climb mountains, ski down mountains, do all sorts of things.
A lot of science. So a lot of people doing like different, a lot of biologists, a lot of scientists, people, studying, dolphin speech.
Okay.
Or there was a really interesting one where somebody was studying, I can't remember if it was sharks.
There's got to be sort of like that angle. You can't just be, well, what about like an Alex Honnold? He's climbing El Capitan.
I think just a purely like sport pursuit.
Right.
No,
okay. There's got to be a scientific
There's got to be
angle.
either like a scientific angle or a storytelling angle. And it could be the story of climbing the mountain. But then also, even education, they have some education grants too. So if you're doing like cool, like a lot of like sort of teaching local people to be their own scientists, like to be the ones to collect the data about different species or different ecological things. That's another one. Yeah, so there's kind of, but it's all, it's definitely within the mandate of exploring the world and
bringing back some
caring about
information
nature
or telling a story. Okay. I'm curious whether on issues, maybe we'll be specific on this one. On an issue like climate, does photography still have the power to move people? Like, are you more about, or I guess, are we in a preserving and witnessing phase versus like storytelling versus truth telling? I don't know. I'm curious.
I mean, that's what's so crazy about what's happened now with the Trump administration is because I really did seem like, okay, like we've proved it. It's happening. We're definitely past this place.
Like human-induced climate change.
Yeah, like we're not trying to just document it. We also want to like recognize the fact that people get scared and burnt out. So we need to also focus on solution stories, right? Yeah. So it needs to not all be doom and gloom. It's a tricky thing to document and share with people and get them to care because it's like sometimes it's really, it's in faraway places or it's not long off, but that's not really the case now. I feel like everybody's been touched by it, but like we have this current administration that's like actually trying to just erase the data. Like they're literally deleting things from archives. They're changing language. They're, like cherry picking scientists. So kind of like, it's like we've sadly gone backwards. So it is sort of just like the witnessing and telling the stories that it's happening is important again. I felt like for a minute, it was almost exciting because it was like, all right, we've done that. Everyone knows, like now we need, but now there's like, people are talking about the Chinese conspiracy again. So it feels like it's sort of like, also there's, there's all sorts of issues like in Alaska, for example, like, we stopped there's this road that they were going to build called the Ambler Road, and it was going to, cut straight through gates of the Arctic National Park.
Is that the Pebble Mine one? No, is that
different one. It's a different one, but it's like a similar thing. It's it's like foreign companies are going to make money, kind of destroying one of the last great wildernesses, and Biden finally put the kibosh on it, and now it's back on the table. Drilling in the refuge is back on the table. So it's just sort of like I feel like we're back to being like having to take this all really seriously and just, as a photographer, as a journalist, kind of document the stories as much as you can and just get the facts out there.
Okay. So that's interesting. It's now you feel like there is a need to do that again.
There is, because there's just so much kind of like lies out there, saying it's a conspiracy and yeah.
Wait, what's the China conspiracy? I don't know.
Well, I don't know that they made it up.
Oh, right.
Yeah. It's like it's a hoax. It's a Chinese hoax.
There's a lot of good conspiracies out there right now. Social media
and they're
has
popular,
really helped.
and
super
then there's really popular podcasters that believe them, and if you're not reading the news and all you're hearing is this dude, yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's usually a dude. You're right. It's often a dude. Not always.
No. But
come up with it, one or two names, but almost always the dude.
There's one or two climate deniers that aren't dudes.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
yeah.
How do you balance, I guess sort of related, but not exactly, like saleable work versus like work you're passionate about? Or do you have to, like the stories that you sell have to be both?
I think like at this point, I feel like that's an advice that I give like kind of like younger emerging photographers is like really try to photograph the thing that you're passionate about. It's very hard. It's very hard to like, this isn't like a, you know, it's not a glamorous job. It's not a high-paying job. So
It's a glamour. I mean, in people's minds.
in people's minds it is, but in reality, it's really not. It's like lonely. It's it's
you're
lonely.
cold,
It's
you're hot,
exhausting.
right. You're laying on the ground in Honduras, bullets. Like that's right.
Or it's like mostly you're just like, you know, you're in like gross hotel rooms, like so I just think it's like telling the stories or working on the stories that you really care about, as opposed to what you think other people will care about, and then you will just do a better job on them. You'll have more of a commitment. You'll take longer because it's like also time is such an important element. So yeah, you'll just do a better job, I think, if you have like the dedication, because it's something you really care about personally as well.
Okay.
But sometimes it can't, right? Sometimes you've got to like photograph weddings or things like that.
Yeah, you
like,
said you were just in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And like what, the game department, like they want specific.
Yeah.
You to tell a story.
It wasn't journalism. It was this was like an NGO kind of more of a corporate job. Yeah, so you do that as well, but yeah.
Walk me through your creative process. How much is planned? How much is spontaneous? Has that changed over? I guess depends on the story.
It does. I mean, I'll plan a ton, and then it almost always never happens according to plan. But like, it's good to plan, And I try not to get like.
When you say you plan, what exactly are you planning?
Like, you're the producer, and when you're a photographer working on these stories, like you're also the producer. So you're, contacting people in advance and, arranging like what people in the industry call fixers. You're finding people who know the area and you can pay them every day to drive you around.
Solve problems for you.
Or
get you places.
Show you things. Like you can kind of have a shot list. Like, oh, these are sort of like the dream things I want to see or photograph.
Right.
But especially with wildlife, like you never know.
Yeah, good luck.
But also just being really conscious of weather and time of year. You can't go photograph something and then you're like, oh wait, this would be way better in the winter, or oh wait, there's only like, however many hours of daylight. So just sort of all of that sort of due diligence, and then also like lodging, like
the logistics.
Yeah. So it's like just planning as much of the logistics in advance, and then reading up, researching what you're photographing so you're knowledgeable. But then also, I do feel like I'm ready to like throw everything out the window once I get on the ground.
Really?
Yeah.
Along those lines, is there like one project that has surprised you? Like what project diverged the most from what you thought it would be?
Oh man, well, I
one or
mean,
two.
So much of the work, like in the early days in Alaska, I was like really dead set on doing this story about seal hunting and how it was being challenged by climate change. The seals weren't coming anymore, and because of that fact, like I could never catch the seals.
Right.
Like they would just.
So that was
like,
true, but it actually kind of It was hard to tell the story.
Exactly. And then I was also doing a story about the whale hunting, and then it was like there was there was a west wind, and then like just basically the sea ice was socked in, and so I'd have all these trips where I'd have like think I'd be doing something about one animal species, and then it would be like, oh, but all these walrus actually came instead of the seals, or I'm in this town and everybody's waiting to whale and they can't, and sort of like having to pivot in that way. And so I ended up going back so many times that I did a series where I just basically showed what it looks like when the spring thaw happens. Okay. So when you've got frozen land, and then in this year, this was 2015, and it was like the fastest spring thaw that it was ever on record, and it was the warmest summer up until that point that had ever been on record in Alaska. So I ended up doing this sort of like compare and contrast of places frozen and unfrozen, and it was like a little bit more fine arty and just like a different direction, and it was really nice, and it was nice to just kind of take something out of basically like a bunch of failed trips, like total failure.
The patience. I'm just thinking about you like coming and going from Alaska, multiple, like the amount of patience required, like how frustrating is that?
Oh, it's really hard too. And like people, they're like people are really awesome there, but like they don't care. Like, they don't care if you get your story. Like if you're gonna, they're like, cool.
Yes, you can sit on my boat, but if we're not going out because of sea ice, like I don't really care.
But or also, sometimes I'd like show up in a community, and there've been a lot of like not so great journalists that have done stories, and they have even though they care a lot about the land and the animals, they don't have a very good relationship with environmentalists. They were really at odds in the 90s, and they don't forget.
Right.
So they don't forget about people who kind of had an issue with like indigenous whale hunters when actually they take such good care. They make sure to only hunt a certain amount of whales.
Right.
They take such
Certain
good
time
care
of
of their
year.
environment that
Right.
in fact they're kind of helping the whales in some ways
Right.
versus focusing more on the commercial whale hunters. But I do feel like Greenpeace and a lot of environmental organizations kind of recognize that they need to work with indigenous
it out
people, but they
eventually.
didn't back in the day.
Got
and
it.
so people remember. So if you come in and they're like an environmentalist, so they
Right.
or even if you're a journalist, there might have been one bad article in 2001 and that's
Right.
it.
But they're not going to forget.
But it takes a while. So I'll be wandering around alone for 4 days, and then finally someone
I
will
need a friend,
someone will feel
someone.
sorry for me and be like, "Do you want a coffee?" and invite
Right.
me into their house. But you also have to get permission from the community to even go there. So I'll have gotten permission, but it still takes time.
It takes time.
Yeah. And if it's a real hunting season, no one has time for you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You cannot possibly get in the way. This
yeah,
is our survival.
Yeah.
You told me you don't do documentaries. You do all still photography.
I do some cinematography.
Okay.
I did for a while, but now I like it, but fortunately I'm doing mostly still, which is sort of what I love.
Okay. Do you know Trevor Frost?
I do,
Okay,
yeah.
you know Trevor, because I was going to say, I don't know how Richmond has more than one National Geographic
I know,
photographer,
yeah,
but that's
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
And Melissa, his wife, they do.
She's great.
Did you know them through
I met them once at a Nat Geo seminar, so
Okay.
none of us ever really see each other because we're all out doing different stuff,
Right,
and so
right.
once a year we have this
do a
little
is that
party.
in DC?
It's in DC.
Okay.
Yeah, so I met them at one. I don't know how many years ago, and
Okay.
I didn't know they lived here, but I just hung out with Melissa.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
I had
yeah.
a previous podcast that Trevor did. It was before COVID, years ago, and I would love to get actually both. That would be a cool episode of this, both of them, or maybe just
Yeah,
Melissa.
yeah.
Because that movie was a Wildcat.
Yeah.
That was super cool.
I love to see that. I love to see people that take, they'll take a story and then they'll something that could have been maybe an article and they'll turn it into just a huge documentary or even an NGO and
Right.
and
it got bought by Amazon, right? So now I think they're doing some they've got a studio here.
Oh yeah, they've got a studio here. They're working on a film in India right now.
right.
Yeah.
Because I think she lived there. Didn't she live there
Yeah.
growing up, or she's
Yeah.
got a connection? That's super cool. When I was sitting there at the computer, I was there's a bookshelf behind me, and I saw Sally Mann's memoir, and I'm obsessed with
I
that
haven't read
lady.
it yet.
Oh
I
my
hear
God,
it's really
it
wonderful.
is. So Sally Mann is, she might be the most, I don't know, the most well-known living sort of fine art photographer or whatever. She's an incredible artist.
From
and she's
Virginia, right?
And she's a Virginia.
Yeah.
She's from Lexington, Virginia,
Yeah.
which is 2 hours west of here. I'm obsessed with her. I was curious if you knew her. You
Oh,
got to
yeah,
read
no.
the book. I'll lend it to
I
you.
mean,
It
now that I
is-
have a baby, all I think about, I
Right.
think about all of her
Right.
photos, and I'm
Right.
and I just you just want to channel Sally Mann whenever you're
you have
making
to
images
read
of your child.
her and memoir, because she is just as good a writer as she is a photographer. It is incredible, and so she goes through that whole time. Because remember, she was almost like a Virginia pariah. She was the governor was commenting about
Yeah.
how she took these famous
Yeah.
pictures of her kids, some of which were naked, some of which were very little clothing, and it was art. I think it was Jim Gilmore. Anyway, there's a big controversy.
Yeah.
And she goes through all that.
I know,
in the
it
book.
kind of is so quaint to think what
Oh my
people
God.
got upset about back then.
Right, it was her kids jumping off docks into the
Yeah.
Maury River naked when they were 8.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
In
And you're
a large format
in a-
film
right,
that
and
then
that-
ends up in a print. It wasn't it was
Right.
putting it on Instagram.
What is it? Colloidal silver? That was
Yeah.
her. Man, she's so cool. I have to do a
That's
road
thank you
trip
for
to stalk
reminding
her.
me, so I
Yeah.
can read that book. Yeah.
I'll give it to you. All right, a couple more. This is it. When you've traveled as much as you have and lived in so many places, what does it sort of change what the idea of home? What does home mean to you?
Definitely. I think for so many people that do this kind of work, and for me especially for a while, it was people, so getting to see your people
Right.
would give you what you needed while you were really just on the road and kind of placeless. But eventually, I think it might have been 2016, 2017, and I was I need a home.
So you're in your 30s. You've been a photographer for a while.
You've been
right.
sleeping on couches or renting this and that, and and then it was all right. And I had also I tried living in Alaska, and it was dark.
It's dark.
And and so I ended up getting this apartment in Red Hook in Brooklyn.
Okay.
And I've had it now like almost 8 years.
Okay.
And it's like a dump. It has a beautiful garden though.
Right.
But it's mine.
It's
and
in Brooklyn,
it's a
so
base.
it's worth $2 million.
Right.
Right, yeah.
Right. I don't own it.
Right.
I still rent it, but my mom is like a 15-minute walk away.
Oh, nice.
And and I grew up in New York City, and so having that as sort of like home, and
Right.
then and then I met my husband, and he has a home here, and like so we have a home here, but I do feel like we're always kind of I do like the South Side.
Yeah.
So like I want to be closer to the river, so we're kind of always looking, and
Yeah.
I'm excited to also really like have a home here.
Yeah.
As well.
I can give you a tour, but the South Side. I mean, Richmond, the whole park system and the way it developed, it allowed for these neighborhoods that are like totally woven into like the river and the parks around it.
Yeah.
And that's like always like as soon as we ended up luckily in a place called Woodland Heights, which is on the South Side, and it's like we now won't leave like that.
Yeah.
It's like a 2 mile
Yeah.
like just stretch along the river.
Just to be
there.
able to get to the river so quickly, like it's such a special thing,
Right.
like
Oh,
the
it's
river
amazing.
in this city. So so home can be people, and I do feel like it's like my partner, and my family. I'm really close with my family. My sister has a place in upstate New York,
Upstate
and
New
we
York?
spend a ton of time there.
Where's that?
It's in East Meredith, so it's kind of
Okay.
near like Delhi or Oneonta.
We went to spend some time in the Lake Placid area
Okay,
years
yeah.
ago, and I love that area.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's
This one's like the
gorgeous.
Catskills. It's like it's not
Okay,
quite there,
not
but
the
it's
Adirondacks, but
it's still
Catskills.
just it's really beautiful and special, and like I have a big family, so we'll like all be there for Thanksgiving. We'll all be
that's
there for
awesome.
Christmas. We all go once a summer, so it's nice, and that's
probably
also
not
like home.
terribly far from here, right? Like
It's not it's like a 7-hour drive.
it's not that close.
It's not that
It's a long way. Well, I'm about to go to Philly for Thanksgiving, and that should be 4, and it'll be a
4.
7-hour drive.
Right, I know.
I mean, like,
Depending on
literally
time. Well,
coming home last year took us over 7 hours to
yeah,
come
we
home.
leave Richmond. If we leave Richmond at 7, we
7
can.
a.m.
No, p.m.
PM.
You can get to New York City in 5 hours. Yeah. So or like
Jersey
vice versa.
Turnpike, killing
yeah,
it.
but you gotta leave like after 7.
Right.
Yeah, which is kind of brutal.
Right. Yeah, that's what we're thinking. We're thinking Wednesday night we'll go up to Philly, leave late,
Yeah.
get there late. The problem is coming back. Last year we came back on that Sunday. There's no good days anymore.
I know.
I think there just might be too many people,
Yeah.
like in the world.
Or
Yeah.
you leave at midnight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or, right. You leave at midnight or you leave at 4 a.m. Right. What do you hope people remember about your work?
Oh wow. That's like a interesting question. I never
And,
thought about
and
it.
maybe like each project there could be a different answer.
I mean, not even, it's more just like I hope people remember my work, period.
Yeah.
You know, I hope that there's like a few photos in there that stick with people,
Right.
you know, that
Right.
just like made them stop in their tracks, made them read the caption, made
Right.
them research more and like want to learn more about what I was documenting
Yeah.
and care. I think that like that's kind of what we all hope. But yeah, and I think, I mean, I hope that it's like the kind of the connection and the empathy that I have with the people I'm photographing comes out.
Right.
I hope it makes the person looking at the image care about that person as well.
It
Just
has-
want to know their story.
Has social media changed the power of images in a way? Like I'm 47, so it's like, you grew up long before social media, and I think like we used to get National Geographic in the mail every month, and there was a few magazines you get, and like some of those images are iconic, right? For especially you think about images from like the Vietnam War or World War II or before social media.
Yeah.
Like now we are literally inundated with images every day.
I do think
every
though,
minute.
it's so much, but I do think that like there's power in like us in a impactful still
They can
image
still cut through.
I
Yeah.
do, and I think like it's the fact that it's a little bit more simple than a video or
Right.
or what have you that like that I do think that it can still reach people.
I think about the Afghan girl on the cover of the Nat Geo.
Yeah.
Like some of those just iconic. I mean, I always, but like actually Smithsonian does a great job with it too. But I always come back to National Geographic because it's like that's been the gold standard for 100 and what?
Yeah.
However many.
I
100
know,
years.
and you can't. I mean, it's like and photographers were all really scared about AI.
Right.
But I also feel like they still there's still just like that uncanny valley. Like there's like the AI photos. They're
just not.
They're just not there.
Right.
Yeah, thankfully. Yeah. And
Is that scary?
It is
Like
scary.
what percent? Like when you talk with other photographers, are you guys like, geez, AI's coming, y'all. Like, I mean, is that a topic
Yeah,
of conversation?
it's a huge topic.
Yeah.
I kind of avoid it. I'm like, why don't we all just start shooting film?
Right.
You know, but it's like, but at the end of the day, it's like AI can't be there physically. It's like we're like, you know, bearing witness. We're like, it's,
Right.
you know, so it's more sort of like there just need to be the appropriate kind of verification tools in place to show that this photo hasn't been manipulated, this photo isn't AI, because it's kind of all we have left.
Right.
To just so for people to just like know what's true.
Right. It is kind of scary. Like now, all of the AI, all the companies that have AI, and it's like they're generating videos, and you're seeing. It like makes me mad. Like even just being on Instagram, and you're like, I don't want it. Like that didn't happen. That,
No,
I don't know.
like some sweet story of an old man and a puppy. I'm like, I don't
Right.
like.
Yeah, but it
I
didn't
don't-
happen.
It didn't happen. Yeah.
Off. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No,
Like,
but that's part of it. Is like we genuinely people do want to know about
Yeah.
other people, real people.
Right,
Like,
like
they don't want to know about.
I wonder
some,
where our limit is with all this stuff. Like I hope we're kind of reaching it, but yeah, I
I
don't
do
know.
feel hopeful though, because like there's this like lo-fi movement amongst
Really?
the younger people. Like, so when I taught this class at NYU, they all showed up with these like shitty digital cameras
Okay.
from like their parents' like 2005
dug it out of
Canon
their
Power
parents.
Shots. Like, so it was, you know what I mean? So to me, I'm just like, oh, that's a bad camera. Not,
Right.
you know, like maybe it was good at the time, but they're like, they see it as like vintage, like the way we would see like a Rolleiflex
Right.
or something.
Like an original
but it's like,
Polaroid.
yeah,
Right.
but it's like, and the flip phones thing, you know,
Right.
it's like, I feel like is this movement to like,
I need to find some articles and like,
Get away
print those
from the
out for
tech-
my son,
yeah.
my 15-year-old. Be like, dude, I'm gonna get you a flip phone. You're
Yeah,
not
get a
you're not
flip
that
phone.
cool, dude,
Yeah, yeah.
unless you get a flip phone.
right? Yeah, just sort of like, not
Yeah.
being on TikTok, that kind
Right.
of stuff. So
These
I do
kids
feel
here
like,
say it's cool to, you know, not be on your phone.
yeah.
That'd be nice. All right, we did it.
We did it. Oh, that was
Thank
amazing.
you. Thanks
Thank
for your
you.
time. All right, now we got to. I got to take you back in the rain.
Oh, yeah.